Hello.
Yeah, Ashna, we can begin.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hello, everyone. This is Ashna Shahjahan from Team NGO Story. A big and hearty welcome to all our nonprofit partners, sponsors, social impact leaders, prestigious jury panel, honorable guest speakers, and one and all who made this event possible. Welcome all to the event. 7 months of relentless hard work, sheer dedication, and coordination with multiple stakeholders, we at NGO Story were trying to create a special experience for all. 2 years back, we started as a media platform, sharing the untold stories of nonprofits and helping them connect with wider audience. And now we have a network of 700 plus nonprofits, which is growing each day. In our country, which has more than 3.3 million registered NGOs, only the big ones are not in social impact ecosystem. NGO Story wanted to create a platform for impact storytelling and empowering the initiative of every grassroots nonprofit. In this journey, we came up with various impact talk shows, having more than 27 plus speakers, having featured more than 250 stories, and created a unique awards platform to felicitate and salute the efforts of nonprofits, and creating a unique awards platform to felicitate and salute the efforts of nonprofits during the pandemic. We are excited to receive hundreds of applications this year and wishing all the best for all participating nonprofits. And now, let me introduce the main pillar of NGO Story, whose passion and dedication guided us and led this team to continue to empower the NGOs. Our founder, Ms. Neha Chawla. Ms. Chawla is a social entrepreneur, change maker, published author, and a corporate veteran, having worked with different gamuts of HR and marketing with IT, startups, and edtech organizations. She has written 2 books and was awarded as the most innovative writer by Times of Amma. She is currently running 2 organizations, NGO Story and Project Shiksha, while NGO Story is working towards empowering the NGOs by featuring their work and marketing their causes. Project Shiksha is a social edtech oriented towards empowering young aspirants with skill development programs like coding, entrepreneurship, and life skill. She has been featured in many platforms, media platforms like She the People, Brilliant Read Media, Dainik Jagran, What Big Next, The Entrepreneurs of India, Udit Vani, and Women's Web. Now, I welcome Neha ma'am to address the audience and start the event for me. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ashna. Namaste, India. It's such a pleasure to finally make this beautiful summit happen. With the efforts of my team members, wonderful collaborators, and dedicated stakeholders who join hands to infuse this with positivity and synergy for the development sector. The NGO Awards Summit is a platform to celebrate and salute the hard work of nonprofits across all sectors and empowering their initiatives. Each one of you is a winner already, and we at NGO Story will continue to empower your journey through impact storytelling and our upcoming CSR-related collaborations. As I reflect on how I started this media channel around 2 years back, with few stories to now a growing network of 600 plus NGOs. Nonprofits have always played a pivotal role in shaping the real India and being resilient in every possible way through the tough tides of the pandemic, which even continues till the date. As an independent media channel, what kept us going was your love and support. Let's move further towards embracing the power of collaboration and celebrate the NGO Awards Summit Season 2 with double energy. I welcome the jury panel, our outreach partners, and every individual who's watching the event. Hope that all of you benefit with the association and help each other grow and create an even stronger giving economy. Over to you, Ashna.
Thanks, ma'am. And now, let me hand over the space to Dr. Shreya Govind for introducing the jury members and the guest speakers. Ms. Shreya Govind is a performance coach, coach trainer, and with over 16 plus years of experience, and now a published author. Over to you, Shreya, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ashna. Thank you, Neha, for this wonderful event. A very hearty welcome to all gathered here. We are here and welcoming you all to this prestigious event. We are very happy to have a prestigious jury panel with us. They all are social impact leaders who have made the development sector stronger with their contribution and unprecedented efforts in their work. I'm really very happy to introduce them. So introducing our first jury member, Mr. Ketan Deshmande. Mr. Ketan is the founder and CEO of Friends Union for Energizing Lives. It is called Fuel. He has represented India at Global Entrepreneurship Summit 2016, Stanford University, USA, which was hosted by former President Obama. He was awarded Champions of Change 2017 by Niti Aayog, which was graced by Honorable PM of India. Welcome to the event, Mr. Ketan. I would request if you could share your thoughts about the awards platform for nonprofits.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I would like to congratulate all the awardees who will win, as well as all the participants for their wonderful participation. I really enjoyed all the entries, and it was very tough to decide whom to give how score is. I'm sure all will take this as a feedback exercise and take this in positive spirit, and you all are doing such great work for the nation. It's an amazing opportunity, and I congratulate all the founders as well as everyone associated with the entire screening process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ketan. Yes, everyone has to take it as in a positive aspect and work towards their work, whatever they are doing it. Rightly said by Mr. Ketan. Now, let me take a chance to introduce our next jury member, Mr. Vidyadhar Prabhu. Mr. Vidya is the co-founder of Lead Cap Trust, which impacted 10 million youth, and Lead Cap Ventures, which consults government like Afghanistan, Libya, Iraq, and international institutions like UN, World Economic Forum, World Bank, and USAID. Welcome to the event, Mr. Vidya. Pleasure having you as a jury. I would request if you could share your thought about this platform like NGO Award Summit.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me as a jury for this specific awards hosted by NGO Story. It has been a wonderful experience for me as person, because I not just looked at it from an evaluation perspective, and I also look at it that from the work that has been done by the participating organization has been very wonderful. And when I looked at evaluating close to about 30-40 applicants in couple of categories, I realized that the work has been very impactful, and there are a lot of learnings for me as well. So it's not just we evaluate and rank a part of it. That's of course a part of a competition, a part of it, but you should take it very positively, as I could see that the winners have been winners just because they scored marginally better on certain things. Probably that day would have been better from them, when they submitted the application. Probably that could be the reason. Otherwise, whoever has not made up to the final cut and not shortlisted part of it, they should not get dejected based on, or if they're not getting any award or any recognition today. All of you are doing a very fantastic work. Your work is very impactful, and you are addressing the key problems that India is facing today, be it anything with to do with livelihoods, or be it doing with differently able or senior citizens of the country. So I believe that your work would empower them. Your work would make definitely impact in their lives. Your work would definitely help them live better in future. Thank you, NGO Story, for firstly for bringing me as a jury part. Let me see their work and examine what they do, and secondly, creating a wonderful platform of like a NGO Story itself, where these people, the NGOs who are participating, partners who are sponsoring them, are collaborated on a single platform itself. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vidya, for sharing your thought. And yes, they all are doing amazing work in their respective field. And you said maybe that day was better for them, so that's why they have got an award. But please do not get disheartened. You all are doing amazing work for our country. Now let's move on to the next jury member, Ms. Shoma Vakre. Ms. Shoma was the co-founder of Empower Research. Now it is a part of large global MNC. She has over 28 years of experience in diverse areas, including CSR, entrepreneurship, media, human resource management, business development, corporate training, and teaching. The list is endless. Welcome to the event, Ms. Shoma. Pleasure having you as a jury. Now, would request you to share your thought for the platform like NGO Award Summit and how beneficial it is for the community.
Thank you so much, Shreya. I think I will just repeat what my two predecessors have said. One is heartiest congratulations to NGO Story. Many people do great work, but half the time it is not heard or seen by the world. So I think the platform that NGO Story has created lends visibility to a lot of great organizations who otherwise would have remained invisible. And that's very, very important. So Neha and team, wonderful job with that. The second thing is that all the organizations that we evaluated have been doing immensely valuable work. And as my two other jury members have already stated, it was very difficult for us to decide who is going to be the winner. So once again, winning, losing does not matter. I think visibility is what matters. And the fact that we had to choose one winner in each category is the law of life, right? But the fact remains that we're extremely impressed by whatever work is being done. And I personally am very pleased to have been a part of this jury, because now I know of 15 more organizations that I evaluated who I would personally like to work with. And I would not have known about them if I was not part of the jury panel. So thank you for making me a part of this amazing journey. Winners, congratulations. Participants, congratulations. I think you are now on the radar, and many of you who are very small and come from small places, people don't know much about you, I think will now know so much more about your work just because you participated. And if you win, that's fantastic, but participation is key. So I congratulate everybody who's part of this journey and part of this platform today, and look forward to seeing who are the winners. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shoma. And as she rightly said, participation is very, very important. Winning and losing is part of the game, but most important is participation. So with this note, let me introduce our next jury member, Ms. Ulvashi Prasad. Ms. Ulvashi is the Director in the Development Monitoring and Evaluation Office for Niti Aayog, the apex M&E office in the country. She has extensive experience in health, nutrition, sanitation, gender, and public policy. Welcome to the event, Ms. Ulvashi. I believe she has not joined in, so we'll move to the next jury member. Now let us introduce some of the seasoned social impact leaders as the guest speakers for this summit. They have worked relentlessly and have created a huge impact in society. We are very happy and proud to collaborate with them. Together, we have been able to reach out a wider non-profit community and made this event more meaningful and stronger. So with that, let me introduce our guest speakers for the day today. So first one, Mr. Ketan Deshmande, as one of the first guest speaker. Mr. Deshmande has more than 20 years of experience across conventional trading, corporate sales, and the development sector with large and mid-sized national and international organizations. Currently, he's working on his startup, Vidyadhar Communications, to position it as a leading provider of communication services for the development sector. Mr. Deshmande, welcome to the event. It would be a pleasure to know more about the topic. What you spend in fundraising and communication will determine how big your cause gets. Can you help us to understand this in a better way, please? Over to you, Mr. Deshmande.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shreya, for the introduction. And I would start by firstly thanking the NGO Story team to have put together such a beautiful event. And I'm very, very glad that, more than 100 participants have applied for this prestigious award. And so before I begin answering the question that you put up in terms of communication, I would definitely like to say that for any NGO and its cause to be accepted by the mainstream, recognition is very important. So every time an NGO gets recognized by any platform, it leads to their credibility being boosted, and at some stage it actually adds to the value of the cause itself. So whether it is malnutrition, hunger, education, livelihood, any cause needs recognition at many platforms, and this is one of those platforms that the team of NGO Story has created. So congratulations to them. Let me quickly talk about fundraising communications, and before that I'll probably just take 30 seconds to talk about my work at Dhrite Communications, because those are two sort of interrelated topics. So Dhrite Communications started in 2018, and we have been trying to work with the social sector organizations and nonprofits in storytelling and sharing their impact with the world. So we are serving as a marketing agency in a sense for the nonprofits to help them raise more money through great communication. And that's the topic that I've taken for this day, which is how can good communication help you raise more funds? And I have spent about 8 years as a fundraiser in a national level NGOs, and what I have realized is just like how Dr. Shoma just mentioned very rightly, that a lot of NGOs are doing some very, very great work, but a lot of times they don't articulate that work, or their work is not very visible in the mainstream media spectrum wherever. And I have understood that communicating your impact is almost as important as creating it, if not more. And therefore, everybody must focus not only on creating great impact, which of course all these NGOs are doing, but communicating it very well as well. And so by choosing to choosing to come on such a platform and applying for an award is a part of that. But there is more to be done. I have traveled the length and breadth of the country with my social development work, and I have seen many NGOs doing some fabulous work. But when I try to look them up online, or when I talk about how they are communicating their impact, most of the times I see that a lot of these grassroots NGOs don't even have a website. Now this is something which is very critical when you want the mainstream world to support your cause. And so every single NGO present here, I would request you to consider communicating your impact as a great activity, and never be shy of telling your story, because end of the day, your story is part of the growth of the nation. It's part of this fabulous network of social work that is being done across the country, and each of these causes deserve that space, mind space in the eyes of the people. So everybody must be working hard to tell their stories, even in a small way. I mean, it's very critical to be visible. So whether it is social media, whether it is a small event, a big event like this one, just show up. I think NGOs must focus on that as well. And one of the other things that I want to share is that great content goes a long way. So all of us have great stories from the ground, stories of change, stories of impact that we have created. Put them in a little format and share it with the world. Content is truly the king. So use any media platform, use any tool that is available at your disposal, but we must communicate our impact. One of the things that I have learned as part of my life as a fundraiser is that when you are communicating your impact, you need to talk both logic and storytelling, or logos and mythos, as we could call it. Let's say the international funders or institutional funders or CSR, most of these institutions care about numbers, care about what kind of impact you're making on the ground in terms of your outreach and other numbers. But at the same time, a storytelling aspect of empathy, of changing lives, also matters to a lot of individual funders. And so if you are looking at raising money from both corporates, institutions, and individuals, then you need to have a great combination of facts and stories from the ground. I've also, in my last 3-4 years, met a lot of NGO founders who told me that, we don't have the budget to communicate. And so if we get a budget, then we will set up a website, then we will set up a YouTube channel and start communicating. Again, in my life as a fundraiser, I realized that every time you spend or invest 1 rupee in your communication and fundraising activities, it has the potential to return 10 rupees. So it's never the other way where you say that, only when I get my first 100 rupees will I invest 10 rupees. It's always invest in your communications first. I just wanted to share some of these things in terms of importance of communication in fundraising, and definitely in impact communications as well. Because once you have a funder or a supporter on board, if you keep supplying them with great stories of change, it will be really difficult to then get them away from supporting your cause. So to all the NGOs who are present here and who are listening to me, wherever you are, consider communication as a great tool of raising money for your cause and strengthening your cause. With that, I think I want to thank everyone for participating and listening to me. And at the same time, congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations to everyone who has participated in this. And thank you so much, NGO Story.
Thank you so much, Mr. Demant, and thank you so much for sharing your thought about communication and how important it is for all the NGOs. I'm sure they would take this forward and implement it in their place. So with that, let's move on to our next guest speaker here today. So let me welcome Ms. Sheetal Kakkar Mehra. Ms. Sheetal is India's leading executive presence coach for CEOs. With over 20 years of experience, she has personally trained over 45,000 professionals across Asia, including numerous CEOs from leading multinational and progressive domestic companies. Welcome to the event, Ms. Sheetal. Ms. Sheetal will be taking us to the topic, importance of communication in fundraising. Could you please share your thought about this, Ms. Sheetal? Is she there? I don't think she has joined. So we'll move to the next speaker. Let's move to Mr. Shawn Shetty. So let me introduce Mr. Shawn Shetty, our next guest speaker. He is NCDA USA accredited career coach and consultant with close to 18 years of experience working at the intersections of education, employability, and entrepreneurship and the social sector on projects with multiple stakeholders. Welcome to the event, Mr. Shawn. Mr. Shawn will be taking us.
Thank you, Dr. Shreya. Thank you, Dr. Shreya.
Please, you're most welcome here. Mr. Shawn, would request you to take us through how we can collaborate in the social sector amidst the age of VUCA. VUCA is an acronym used in today's world. I'm sure everyone is aware. VUCA is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So over to you, Mr. Shawn.
Thank you, Dr. Shreya. Thank you so much. Thanks to Neha also for having me, over at the NGO Awards Season 2 program today. I want to begin by saying, often quoted Ren Descartes quote, which says that every problem, is solved best when it is, defined. When you define the problem, we are definitely, onto it to solve it. So as you rightly said, Dr. Shreya, VUCA is all about how the world is today volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And over the years, whenever VUCA is mentioned, the direct impact is by the catalyst, which we call as pest. Truly a pest, which is political, economic, social, and technological changes. And today, as the pandemic hit us over the past 2 to 3 years, we have been hit by a tidal wave of a VUCA tsunami wave, if I can say so. And today, when we are working in our own communities, there are NGOs here who are working on different UN Sustainable Development Goals. You are working with your community and making headway despite all the resource constraints that you had. And then suddenly along the way came the pandemic, and it further complicated funding for your projects. It also meant that your communities whom you're working with, where you had made progress, these stakeholders needed more support than ever. And it kind of resulted in a situation where it was more volatile, more uncertain, and more complex, to say so. This makes us ask this crucial question: how can we collaborate? And how can we get better at doing good for each other in the social sector community and the communities that we work with? I would like to take a leaf out of literature to get the spirit on board, which is from a often quoted poem that we come across in schools by H.W. Longfellow, where he says, "Let us then be up and doing for any good, still pursuing, still achieving, let us learn to labor and to wait." It's important for us, as we believe in the social sector, that not enjoyment and not sorrow is our destined end away. Our focus always has been through the ages as a collective, ever since the first social sector organization probably began with somebody deciding to do more than just doing charity. We started looking at how we could make some impact in focusing on the problem at hand, whether it was educating people or giving access to education, sanitation, whatever the social issue was. All of us started with that philosophy, and 200 300 years later, we made some progress, but we've not reached a point where we can truly say that all the problems in the world have been solved, right? So it's great as a motto with a song and a mission on our lips. The question is, we have to ask ourselves, as we are working individually as a social sector organization, are we solving the right problem? I say this because as each and every NGO is working in its line, it finds that its solution could have been implemented better if there was some other support mechanism. So let's say, for example, you want to implement financial literacy, but the financial literacy content is not available in a vernacular structure for the local people to understand, and it is not accessible for them to start with small savings. Financial literacy seems like a really distant goal. Likewise, when we are working with education in the cities, in the slum communities, we find that you have great content and you can reach these school students digitally. But the question is, can somebody supply these children with digital infrastructure and internet connectivity so that they can access this 21st century skills content, right? So which brings us to the point as to how we, the Bodhi tree, are looking to see that we are not becoming another NGO. And we say this with a lot of respect and dignity, because when we know that there are organizations already on ground working on a particular problem, we need to see how can we ensure that we can create an infrastructure or support system and resources so that they can do a better job at what they are doing. We always say that we should always find experts in other areas and focus on our core competence. It's far more required in the social sector with all the resource constraints that we are looking at. So the question is, how do we bring about collaboration? Collaboration definitely becomes a starting point when we start identifying and looking at what our core strengths are, and then see what do we want to do for the community. So which brings us to the point of view. Deepthi and I, when we co-founded the Bodhi Tree 12 years ago in thought and not so register it as an organization, we started working on our individual journeys of immersing ourselves into the social sector, working in different organizations and different projects. And now we've come to a point where last year, when we registered the company in December, around 9 months before that, we spent a lot of time talking to NGOs on ground, trying to understand what were the areas they needed support. And this we did across different SDGs. We also looked at what is it that they were looking for in terms of partnership. That's where we come to the first point, which is to say that if we as individuals and as a collective in the social sector can accept the fact that we need to work with each other, and we do work with donors, we do work with our stakeholders, it's also important for us to see how we can work with other solution providers to come together to focus on that child, to see that the child not only gets access to great education content, also has access to career counseling, has access to For example, if it's a girl who's touching puberty, it's not enough to just provide education about menstrual education. It's important to also provide disposable sanitary pads. So the focus for us to come together is to start having a dialogue, having a conversation. And I think that's what NGO Story is doing a great job of, bringing in different organizations onto the platform, helping them to not only engage during the time of the award, but also featuring them on their platform, thereby giving that opportunity to connect and to collaborate. We've launched a program or a campaign that we say, education with dignity. And here, what we are doing is we're working with organizations like DeskIt. We are working with organizations like Shiksha on Wheels. So what we are trying to understand is every community can be provided with global solutions. As we know from one of the top 2 principles for Teach for All, which is what we know in India as Teach for India, for example, the focus should be inclusivity. Can we get all these stakeholders working on a SDG, working on a particular cause into a room, and then see how we can work together to look at that single child who's representative of the community and the various shades that each one of these children, it could be a child with disability, it could be a child who's on the autistic spectrum, it could be a child who's not interested in continuing with further education, but wants to take up vocational skills training, right? So if we are going to focus on our end beneficiary and then work together, I'm sure all of us can come together to unlock a whole diversity of solutions, thereby ensuring that the community will also come together. One thing that we have learned, I'm very conscious of the time that's been allocated to me. I would like to say that one thing that we have learned time and time again is that when we come together looking at who needs, roti kapda makan, as we say in Bollywood, we are able to arrange for it. But when we are looking at what the child needs, we should not push our agenda. So the agenda should be determined by what the community needs. And that is why we are seeing today an unprecedented wave of support, not just from huge philanthropists and big foundations. We know for sure that in the past 2.5, 3 years, the community has delivered through its philanthropy, where college kids have donated 500 rupees, deciding not to go out and eat Chinese food. There are families who have decided that they will donate for groceries to help poor people in the neighborhood who are without a job access groceries. So we have shown as a social sector in the past 2.5, 3 years, how we in India have come together and are continuing to come together to work together, to collaborate, to do what is required for every person in this country, irrespective of socioeconomic background or religion, to access what they should access, the right to education, livelihood, and all of that which makes us truly human. On that note, I would like to say, let's connect and collaborate on this platform and beyond this platform and do what we can, because this is what we do best as a social sector. Thank you, everybody, for a patient hearing.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shravan. Yes, that is the right now need to create more awareness about all these things. And we in a social sector, we need to create that awareness. Thank you so much for doing all these things, Mr. Shravan. With that, moving to our next guest speaker, Mr. Divya Shekhar. Mr. Shekhar is the co-founder and chief technology officer at Ninth Block Inc., a seasoned techie with 20+ years of experience. Shekhar is passionate about the opportunity to empower the social development sector using technology. Welcome, Mr. Shekhar. Would request you to take us through how technology is transforming non-profit from program execution to fundraising. Would you love to know more thoughts about from your side, Mr. Shekhar?
Thank you, Dr. Shreya. Thank you for having me here. I represent an organization called Ninth Block, which is based out of Redwood City in California. And we also have presence in India, in Bangalore, as well as New Delhi. So at Ninth Block, we are very much passionate about empowering the nonprofit sector with technology. So when we analyzed this nonprofit sector in India, we realized that there are almost, I think, 3.2 million nonprofits registered in India, out of which only 9,000 odds are getting, adequate funding. So This meant that most of these organizations don't have deep pockets for commercial technologies. So as a digital nonprofit initiative, what we started is that we started meeting these nonprofits and started providing them free consulting, and also empowered them with some free open source softwares based on the requirements. So these are available, and most of the nonprofits are not aware of it. So most of them think that hey, technology is going to cost us a lot, but there are a lot of these open source technologies which are available, and these are available for free. So they can definitely be it a CRM or any kind of ERP or a donor management software. All of them are available. So yeah, definitely they can go with that. Another thing which we realized is that these nonprofits needed funding. So we saw that there's a large gap. So we went to corporations, we went to PSUs, we went to individual donors, and all we heard was a term called impact investment. Now, government of India is getting pretty strict on the compliances, and these donors did not want any, quarterly reports which they were getting from nonprofits with fancy numbers and some random pictures. So they wanted some kind of visibility in the entire process. We can say a real-time access to the information, be it communication or the action resulting out of the communication, or the impact out of these actions. So they wanted to get involved in the entire thing. So we went back to the drawing board and we created a workflow. We identified certain data points and created a system around it. And, this system was pretty much good enough to help NGOs create their project management, as well as, they gave visibility to the donors. And of course, we were backed by a couple of renowned corporations. So we took it out to an NGO for the test run in Bangalore, and the results were quite astonishing, because not only the donations from the existing donors increased, but they also got more donors based on the reports and the system which they were using. We call this product Ninth Block Edge, and you can read more about it on our website. Another area where I think this technology is going to transform the nonprofit sector is transactions. I think Shawn was speaking about social sector collaboration. So he was talking more in terms of collaborations, and I see it more in terms of transactions, because it's more like a transaction between nonprofit and maybe a volunteers, a nonprofit and corporate, both monetary as well as non-monetary. It can be between nonprofits and service providers. So we need to do it digitally now, and there will be certain soft contracts also involved, which will be based on blockchain technologies. A lot of organizations are working on it, and that's going to be future, but it's high time we should definitely switch over to digital system. And with that, I would like to conclude it. I really enjoyed being here, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shekhar. It's a pleasure to have you also here. Now, moving to our speaker, Ms. Sheetal. Earlier, she was not here. Now she has joined. So would request Ms. Sheetal to share the importance of communication fundraising. Everyone wants to know more about it, Ms. Sheetal.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful to be here. And yes, the importance of communication in fundraising. I represent Go Barefoot, which is a web-based portal for networking, as well as for job searching and internships, and of course, knowledge sharing, and Catalyst, which is the NGO. So how is the question? So how do you communicate for fundraising? And let's agree, you can have the best of programs, but if you don't have the funds, it is not sustainable. It's not possible for you to take the cause forward. So firstly, I feel what is very important is how do you plan to tell the story? And that is very critical. Secondly, what is even more important is what is your impact? At Catalyst, we realized that while we kept telling people that we have impacted, empowered women, we have worked with women in STEM, but the fact is that one third party, a very credible third party social impact study was such a game changer for us, and that added to our credibility. So I think studying impact is also very important. Another thing we realized was sharing good news was important. The success stories are living examples of the impact that you have created. So, regardless of whatever your cause may be, if people can see some success, that is positive news, and that works very well with potential donors as well. Also, it's important to keep your current donors updated. Many times people have a grudge. They say, yes, I wrote out a check, but I never heard back from you. Or I heard something which was very generic. So if you can share with them what has happened, the transparency and how you use the money and how it created impact, it will be very easy for you to onboard the same donors going forward. And you know something, finally, I believe everybody can be a donor. We have seen during the pandemic how the donor profile has changed. Earlier, it was a 2% CSR that we were looking at. Later on, we realized there were, of course, foundations as well, which was always the traditional source of raising funds. But during the pandemic, even the retail donor, people who could even donate $100 on a platform, on social media, actually ended up contributing to the funds. So I think what is very important is what is your cause, what motivates your donors, what is your donor profile, and how you can stay connected with them. In fact, donor expectations have also changed. They expect a lot more transparency. And as I said earlier, even the impact. So what is critical is that your communication team and your fundraising team have to work synchronized. They are not two different departments. They are two teams that have to work together to create impact. So how do you build your contacts? First of all, I always feel the best are the referrals. If you have an existing donor, the best thing to do is to go back to them and say, do you have somebody who would like to contribute to the cause? Because that linking is something which is not a cold call, but instead goes with a referral email. We noticed that really worked well. Secondly, I believe social media has also been a game changer. You know, the impact, the world has become flat. Today, sitting in any part of the world, you can raise funds for a cause, and that has become very critical. So your communication on social media has to be authentic as well as impactful. Technology has also played a very critical role. Smartphones are in everybody's hands. So in which case we realize that if we make videos of social impact, just a 30-second video which people could upload, even if it looked amateur, the fact was that it showed impact, and that was very critical. So I do believe that a video, you can send out possibly 100 emails, but one video which shows impact is so much more relevant, and you really don't need to spend a ton of money on those videos. And finally, I believe your communication on social media has to be synchronized, whether it is how you communicate on Instagram, how are you connecting with people, because that way your message can reach a lot more people. And there are a lot of people there who are there to support the cause. So happy to share more tips with each of you, in case you send me an email, and happy to promote the cause. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Really appreciated my NGO story, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sheetal, for sharing all your thoughts. And thank you for being here in this platform. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ashna.
Thank you, Shreya, ma'am. Now, let me introduce our next guest speaker, Ms. Trupti Gore. Ms. Trupti is a software developer and founder of My Selfless Act, which is a social networking application for social work. Welcome to the event, ma'am. It is a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much, Ashna.
Trupti ma'am will be taking us through the topic donor management. So over to you, ma'am.
Thanks, Ashna, and thank you so much, NGO Story, for organizing this wonderful activity and this event. Today, I'm going to talk about the donor management because we know that, whether it is a non-profit organization or a charity organization, the most important thing is getting the donation, because all our causes and activities, we cannot actually achieve that and do something good in the society if we don't have the funding, keep coming on regular basis. So what happened that when we actually decide to work on the cause, at the same time, you need to focus on thinking and planning ahead that who your donors are. I mean, the first thing you really need to focus more than the cause is how you're gonna get these funds, whether you're gonna, get the funds from the government or you wanna, gather the public donation. If with the government funds, what happens that it is a long process and a lot of, it's time consuming and very hard to get it. So a lot of NGOs try to get the public donation. If the public is your donor, then you really need to focus, whether you want to target the corporates for the CSR fund or you want to target individual donors, because targeting individual donors is really quick, and within a month or within a week you can have some amount in your hand regularly to continue with your cause. Now, a lot of people really don't understand that, a lot of nonprofits always ask us that, finding individual donors every month is really hard and impossible task. Few months you will get the donation, and after that, same people won't continue, because you need to keep try and finding new donors, while you already have the fund from your family and friends. So the main question is, how can you actually find new donors and individual if the corporates are really a time consuming process? Because with the individual, the case is completely different. You can try two different activities at the same time, online and offline activities. So I saw in most of the nonprofit organization, what they do is either few organization will target online activities a lot, and they won't focus on the offline activities or organizing event, and few NGOs will only work and focus on the offline activities, and they won't think about the social, using the social media platform or any kind of online presence. So I saw that any organization who actually try to get the attention of these individual donors on online and offline at the same time, they get the maximum benefit. So when I say about online and offline activities, you might be thinking, okay, we all are doing that, but there is a way to actually doing it a proper way. Like, first you need to have a donor mapping. That means the list of potential donor you can have on your first or second month. It can be any friends, family members, neighbor, colleague, and their relatives. To invite them in a, if it is a offline event, have a get together time to time, once or twice a month, and show them what exactly you are doing. What you can do is, invite only 4 or 5 friends or neighbors and tell them to bring their family and friends, and talk about the cause that you are working. If you think that, okay, your organization's work is in the village and your donors are in the city, so you can still arrange a get together offline and show them all the work on your social media profile, on your laptop, on your phone. This way, those people who are actually new to those, your organization, they came through your friends or something, they will also bring more people next time. So this is, for offline activity, I told you. Online, same activity you can do. What happened that you don't engage online your friends and their friends. If you just post something on social media, or you create a crowdfunding link, and most of the NGOs are saying that we do not get the response, and only that 4 or 5 people who already donated earlier, they are the only people who are giving us money and not anymore. So what happened is these people are not engaging enough on your social platform. What you can do is try and find the volunteers and supporters instead of just focusing on getting money and on first hand on online platforms. So if you actually also post a QR code, which is very easy to actually pay. If somebody just want to pay 100-200 rupees just quickly, as soon as they saw your picture, they would actually they don't like to go for your bank details and then transfer online. If you are posting QR code online, they can just quickly pay you the money as soon as they saw your post. Another trick is how can you engage these people, because if they become your supporters or they volunteer in your activities, they can actually actively they will participate and promote you and share your post to their relatives as well. So for just focusing only on finding donors, maybe you should more focus on donation in terms of not only money, but getting the donation in time in someone's time, or someone have a really great offer for the collaboration. They know their company. Any other supporter can actually help you if you try all these activities at the same time and not only focusing on the online or offline activities. I won't be able to talk much about this topic, but please feel free to contact me and find me on social media, DM me anytime. You can also use My Selfless Act application, which is a social networking platform for social work. Thank you so much, everybody, and thank you so much, NGO Story.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a pleasure having you here, and thank you for sharing such tips to all of us. Now, let's welcome our next speaker, Ms. Manithi Modisha. Ms. Manithi is the co-founder of Connect2 and has been in the space for 6 years. She leads all efforts for business development and non-profit management, as well as ideating new services for their stakeholders. Ms. Manithi will be taking us through the topic, how we can use volunteers to optimize maximum impact for NGOs. Welcome to the event, ma'am.
Hi, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure having you here.
Yes, thank you. So I think volunteers are really vital to nonprofit organizations. Their active participation in roles like fundraising, marketing, and program delivery helps organizations save lakhs of rupees a year. I think a lot of the speakers before me spoke about how communication is very important. Telling the story of the impact you're creating is extremely important. But a lot of times organizations don't have budgets to sort of create these videos, create the marketing collaterals for this, spend time in fundraising, hire people to do the same. And this is where volunteers come in. They act as the backbone of the nonprofit organizations. They can add a lot of value to nonprofit organizations. Connect4, the organization that I run, has been connecting nonprofits in India to volunteers since the last 6 years. And we've helped our nonprofit partners, many of which are present on the call today, have helped them save a lot of money, and to the effect of about 5.1 crores in terms of impact. So I think this shows the power and the value that volunteers can create. They provide this value obviously through their skill and time. Not many people would be able to donate money. What we've also seen is that philanthropy starts at a young age. When people probably don't have money to donate to a specific cause or to a specific NGO. But if they are young volunteers who donate their time, their skill, they are much likely to become philanthropists in the future. So I think for nonprofits to engage with volunteers, it's extremely important that they start doing this and build these programs for volunteers into the core work that their organizations are doing. There's so many things that are competing for people's time and attention, and nonprofits are tasked with finding meaningful ways to attract and use their volunteers. Volunteers freely give their time and talents. They must believe but in order for it to be fruitful, the volunteer must believe in the organization's mission and feel valued and appreciated. I'd like to talk about a few points as to how a nonprofit can use volunteers effectively and the tools they can use for volunteer engagement. So once an organization connects with its volunteers, it must find a way to keep them engaged and invested to recognize their contributions. So in order to do this, a nonprofit should have a solid volunteer training program. They should have a dedicated volunteer manager, because usually when a volunteer comes in, they need to sort of need to be oriented on what the mission and vision of the organization is, what exactly do they need to do, how is their work going to create value and impact. They're much more likely to stay connected to that organization if they are oriented in this and trained in this way. Having well-defined volunteering opportunities for meaningful work can go a long way towards keeping the volunteers happy, and this makes them much more ready to return. This also makes referrals a lot easier, whether it's referrals for donations or fundraising, or whether it's referrals for other volunteers. Having correct expectation setting, including like well-defined work plans, deadlines for deliverables, etc. When you're looking for skill-based volunteers, like you want someone to write content for your website, create your website, manage your social media pages, you should have content and expectations ready. So the volunteer, and prepare this in advance. So when a volunteer comes in, they know exactly what they need to do. And last but not the least, have a few perks for the volunteers in terms of certificates, photographs, felicitate them in some way at the end of their sort of volunteering stint, give them a letter of recommendation, maybe a thank you note from the founder or the trustee, because these things sort of go a long way. So I think these are ways in which you can engage volunteers and utilize volunteers to create impact for your nonprofit organizations. Thank you. And I'd like to thank NGO Story for having me and putting this together. I think it's, and all the best to all the NGOs, and congratulations to the winners.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for taking us through all the tips you have shared. Now let me introduce our last speaker for the day, Mr. Akshay V. Mr. Akshay is the founder and CEO of Exola Technologies, which provides technology services for nonprofits and social enterprises. Mr. Akshay will be taking us through the topic, technology as an enabler for growth and impact. Welcome to the event, sir.
Thank you, Ashna, for your wonderful introduction, and thank you, NGO Story, for this opportunity as well. I'd like to begin with one of my favorite quotes by Dr. B, who started Arvind Eye Hospitals. He says, intelligence and capability is not enough. There must be joy in doing something beautiful. So in that way, I think most of the nonprofits here, most of the development professionals have the joy factor in them when we work as a sector towards collectively creating impact. I think that is one thing which really unites us all of us, and NGO Story is one such platform where we can come together. And one more thing which I really love about working with nonprofits is we always see each of us as collaborators and not as competitors. So very glad to be part of this event. And when I talk about joy, right, so I grew up with a passion for technology, and I used to work as a software engineer in a software company. And somewhere down the line, I took a shift in career and started working in development sector, and worked in a government school as a teacher. And that's when I saw this huge divide in access to technology in nonprofits and social sector organizations. And that led to the birth of Exola. So Exola's vision is to provide technology solutions for nonprofits organizations so that they can manage their time and also scale effectively. So that's what we do. And going to the topic which Ashna just briefed about, right? So technology as an enabler for growth. One of the misconceptions often that comes across when implementing technology is technology can save or scale it immediately, right? But there are two important aspects which go even before technology. One, I think, is the people. So people who run the nonprofit. So when you have strong people, when you have passionate people who are running a nonprofit, you don't need technology. You can just create impact. And another, I think, is program and a structured program and processes. So every nonprofit has different programs where they kind of create impact, and which program scales and which program focuses on in depth is something that only the nonprofit can understand. And third is when technology comes into play, right? So there is people, there is processes and programs, and there is technology. And we want to bring in the technology lens in nonprofits to make sure the work that a nonprofit does is amplified to the maximum extent possible. And a lot has been said about how technology can be useful by my previous speaker, Mr. Divya Shekhar. So I will not go into a lot of details. But one thing I'd like to break here is the misconceptions when it comes to technology, right? So one misconception is that technology is always costly or, is out of your reach. Today with the rise in technology and with the rise of open source software and with the rise of low cost softwares, it is extremely possible to onboard to any technology solution in the fastest time, in the lowest price possible, right? So world is heading towards that, and I think technology's costly mindset is kind of changing towards a more accessible technologies becoming more accessible. Another thing which we've often noticed is technology takes a lot of time to understand and onboard and work with technology softwares. And from our experience, right, initially there is a learning gap which is there, but over time it is saves you time, right? For example, we worked with nonprofits where 80% of our time is spent on manual work, repetitive work, data updation work, filling up forms, etc. Right? I'm sure most of you relate with this, issuing ATG receipts. All of these processes can be automated with proper technology systems. So that's what we are thriving towards. And for us to scale, right, for us to scale with a good technology system is when you can have a core program and have set processes in place. And that's when you can use technology to kind of build an MIS system which should cater to scale as well. And so far, we've been fortunate enough to work with organization which is scaled from 1,000 students per month to 40,000 students a month. And technology will help you do that in no time, right? And also technology today, like I'm sure all of us are sitting in different parts of the country or even outside of the country, and we're all talking with one another. Similarly, right, with NGOs collaborating and using technology, a rural student in, let's say, Orissa gets a job in Bangalore, or a person running a nonprofit in Mumbai sells their product in Uttar Pradesh. So that is the possibility and endless impact that could be created with the right usage of technology. So with that, I think to just summarize on how to scale, how to grow your organization is one, to have strong processes in place. Next, to have technology, think of technology as an enabler for growth, right? It's not only a growth mechanism, it's an enabler for growth. It will only enable growth, whereas you need people to run the system. And also try to evaluate what kind of technology system that you're trying to develop as well, because after a technology system is developed, you will need someone to maintain and run the system. So evaluate and then increase your growth. And I'd like to share one thing that I think Dimant also pointed out is technology is not a spend, right? It is investment to your future. So I hope all of the nonprofits can think technology to invest and also to create growth. And yes, that's pretty much it. And I'm very excited to hear about the winners as well. So thank you for the opportunity. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking us through that. So now I'll hand over the space to Ms. Rishita.
Hi, everyone. This is Rishita from Team NGO Story, and I'm proud to be one of the moderators for today's event. Before we move further towards announcing the winners of the NGO Award Summit Season 2, we would like to thank our technology partner, Edzola Technologies, our sponsors and outreach partners, Connect4, Dhriti Communications, Ninth Block Inc., Go Barefoot, Shakti the Empathy Project, MASH Global, ABCT International, My Selfless Act, and few other corporates. Our trophy sponsor, Trophy Card, and all social impact leaders who synergized and empowered the event for the nonprofits. NGOs have always been an important part of the society and helping the real India move up the ladder. We are proud to honor all the nonprofits who have emerged as heroes and strengthening the marginalized communities through their fervor, sheer dedication, and hard work. This event is acknowledge your effort irrespective of the labeled winning. All of you are winners already and have touched our hearts. We salute all the nonprofits who risked their health during the pandemic tough times and working across sectors like education, women empowerment, livelihood, healthcare, specially abled, old age, rural communities, transgender rights, protecting children rights, and environment preservation. Let's move further towards announcing the winners of NGO Award Summit 2021. All the winners will be receiving a grant of rupees 25,000 each, and the physical trophy will be dispatched to their respective addresses. Additionally, all the participants will receive the certificate of participation from NGO Story and mentoring support to further empower their initiatives. Over to you, Shreya ma'am, for the next phase of the event.
Thank you so much, Rishita. I think the time has come, and I'm sure everyone would be waiting for this event throughout since we started. So I will not hold it for more longer. So let's get straight to the winners. So I would like to request our prestigious jury panel to announce the winners for today's Eventful Summit. So first, Mr. Ketan Deshmande to declare the NGO of the Year for the education category. Mr. Ketan.
Yeah, it's indeed an honor to announce the winner for this category. The category is education category, and the NGO of the year for empowering education goes to Inside Me NGO. Congratulations to all the participants. Thank you.
Congratulations to all the NGOs who have participated, and also to the winner, definitely. Congratulations, huge congratulations to them. Now going to the next, NGO of the Year, Rural Communities. Mr. Vidyadhar, could you please announce the winner?
Thank you, Shreya. The NGO of the Year empowering rural communities have been a very competitive space, and the winner is Indo Global Social Service Society. Congratulations to the winner, and good luck for the future as well.
So could you please announce the name?
Okay, it is Indo Global Social Service Society for empowering rural communities.
Congratulations, wow. And heartiest congratulations to all the participants also. Congratulations, everyone. Now, moving to the next award, NGO of the Year, Healthcare. Miss Ulvashi, would you please announce the winner?
Yes, thank you very much, firstly, for giving me this opportunity. It was very difficult to actually adjudicate this category. There's some fantastic work done by a lot of the NGOs. But the winner in this category is Caregiver Sathi Foundation. So congratulations to them, and also to all the other NGOs in this category doing incredible work. Thank you.
Congratulations, Caregiver. And also to all the participants in this category. Moving on to next, NGO of the Year, Empowering Women. Ms. Shoma, please take this opportunity to announce the winner.
Thank you, Shreya. I must reiterate again, it was very difficult to come up with the winner for this category, but it gives me immense pleasure to announce the winner. And the NGO of the Year Award for Empowering Women goes to Shrija, India, for their very holistic approach in actually empowering women from all dimensions. So thank you very much, Shrija, for doing fabulous work, and congratulations. And congratulations to all the participants, because you have caught our eyes, and we will soon be working with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shoma, and thank you. Congratulations to Shrija Foundation. Great work. Looking forward for more and more work from you guys. Great. Now the last category, and the winner must be waiting. The participants must be waiting for this. the NGO of the Year, Empowering Specially Abled or Old Age. Mr. Vidyadhar, could you please announce the winner?
So this is the last category, the NGO of the Year, empowering specially abled, and the winner is Service Initiative for Voluntary Action Trust. That's the winner. Congratulations, and in fact, congratulations to all the participants across all the categories. Though we have selectively reviewed everything, but I believe the co-jury has done a fantastic job in getting them out as well, the winners out. So thank you so much. Thank you for having me as a jury as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vidya. It was a pleasure having you here as a jury and also listening to you. So it was actually I could hear and I could feel from all the jury members, it was a very difficult choice, picking one winner from each category. Everyone has contributed a lot. And I want everyone to please applaud for all the participants in all the sectors. So great work. So with this, we come to an closure of our event. But before we say bye, I would request Neha to please say the last words.
Thank you so much, Shreya. Thank you so much, jury members. I'm sure it would have been really difficult for all of you to choose a winner there, right? And thanks, for helping us out here. And we are really excited, to finally be able to do something like a season 2 of the NGO Award Summit. And thank you to all of the wonderful guest speakers who had joined us to share the anecdotes on the different topics. Big congratulations to all the winners of this season. Team NGO Story will keep in touch for the grants transfer and the trophy dispatch. And for all the others, please don't lose heart. We will be back with another season with more opportunities for you. For all participants, we will be conducting a lot of training sessions by experts from the development sector. All details will be shared with you shortly. You will also receive the certificate of participation in the event. All of you are heroes, inspiring so many lives. We salute you for your hard work. Big thanks to all our outreach partners, our technical partner, Team Edzula, for being there throughout and supporting us. Thanks, Akshay. Thanks to Team Trophy Card for supporting us with beautiful trophies for the event. Rakhi Mehra and Astha Dodrachka, co-founders of Trophy Card. Some beautiful souls and philanthropists, Mr. Veenu Chibbar, Karishma Malhotra, Sneha Marwa, and Gaurav Atreja for believing in me and my team. And a hearty thanks to my wonderful team. We will come back next year with more energy, more opportunities for nonprofits, and more impact. Till then, this is Neha Chawla signing off. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining this event.